आपका यूके का रिजेक्शन हुआ, पार्ट टाइम जॉब करना जरूरी है, यंग एज में मिलियनर बनने का सबसे बेहतरीन रोड मैप। Hi, Namaskar, dear pharmacy students, and welcome to the Pharma Vision podcast. Today, we have invited one of the very interesting and young achiever. He is a pharmacist. Basically, he has done his pharmacy education from India, and then he moved to Canada. He has completed his education from Canada, then he became the registered pharmacist, and at very young age, he has established his pharmacy businesses, and currently he is running more than 3 pharmacy stores in Canada, and also he is owning a few other businesses. तो आज की इस पॉडकास्ट में वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट लर्निंग स्टेप बाय स्टेप जर्नी, उसकी पूरी क्रोनोलॉजिकल ऑर्डर में हम समझने का प्रयास करेंगे और इसी तरह से यंग एज में मिलियनर बनने का सबसे बेहतरीन रोड मैप हम आज हमारे वन ऑफ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग पर्सनैलिटी एंड अवर पास्ट स्टूडेंट मिस्टर अंकुर से जानेंगे। हाय अंकुर।
Hello, sir. Thanks for inviting. It's a pleasure and glad to see you again.
Okay. तो आज की जो शुरुआत है अंकुर, हम वहां से करते हैं कि आपकी जो कैरियर के बिगिनिंग के डेज, जैसे आपने ग्रेजुएशन मास्टर्स सब खत्म किया इंडिया में, तो वहां से थोड़ा बीट करके आप कैसे इंस्पायर्ड हुए कनाडा या तो विदेश जाने के लिए, तो वो थोड़ा जर्नी के बारे में बताइए।
So to start with, the graduation, we can go a little bit further behind, from grade 12. Grade 12 mein, everybody's aim is to go and get admission in MBBS. Not everybody can get into that drip. But unfortunately, I was on border level, 89% in 12 science, and had to ended up with the pharmacy, which again, I was really fascinated to do the pharmacy as well. And fair enough, got into the bachelor. Bachelor के बाद प्लान यही था कि बाहर जाना है, क्योंकि बैक इन द माइंड ये था कि in India में there is not much scope for community pharmacists. In India, pharmacists, they are deemed to work in a industry. So the way the structure and the curriculum design in bachelor, you become an industry, or you're ready to go in industry, either in production, either in research, but there is nothing for a community. And मेरे दिमाग में था कि community pharmacy में is really good scope. Because clinical में मेरा interest था पहले से pharmacology. तो वो करके ऐसा था कि community pharmacy में you utilize your skill at best. And वो करके मुझे UK जाना था. तो उस टाइम पे मैंने UK अप्लाई किया था. And I had a really good score. I did clear national level examination GPAT at that time. It was GET at that time, which I just gave the exam just to my professor actually, he told me to write an exam while I already had a decision made to go to UK. So just for his sake, I did write the exam, which I cleared, and I applied for UK. I got admission in Greenwich University, which was a really good university, providing really good courses for clinical and pharmaceuticals. Unfortunately, the financial aspects I couldn't fulfill, and I got refused. That was the biggest setback, given the fact that I did really work hard, starting from the grade 1 to the grade 12, and in pharmacy too. So I was kind of hopeless, because at that point of time and age, you don't really have a wide vision and kind of the mature thinking. You feel like your dreams are settled. It's an end of the life and whatnot. And also, the financial situation of the parents wasn't that great. So what I knew was I had to do something to get ourselves out of the situations. And I was really upset. It took me a time. And I still remember, I started doing job because I needed money. because whatever the money I had, I put in a visa applications and whatnot. So I had to start working. At that time, my couple of my colleagues were making good money in marketing. So I gave an interview, which I got selected in Ranbaxy, and I started working in Ranbaxy in marketing. I did a really good job. For 6 months, I did work in Ranbaxy. After 6 months, I decided, this is not something I really want to do. I enjoyed it, but in my mind, like, no, this is not something I'll go forward for forever. So, अब क्या करेंगे? तो फिर UK में rejection आया. If you remember, in 2010, that was the last year कि वो PSW work permit issue करते थे. उसके बाद में work permit issue करना बंद कर दिया. जैसे मेरा rejection आया, 1 महीने बाद उसका circular आया वहाँ से कि अभी PSW नहीं मिलेगा UK में. तो पूरा अभी डन है. और कनाडा ओपन था, मगर कनाडा में उस टाइम पे not everybody knew about this pharmacy thing, or none of my colleagues had been to Canada at that time, so I never had any connection which I can explore too, and I never even thought about that. तो मैंने सोचा कि रिजेक्शन आ गया है, अब ये बाहर जाने का नहीं करना है, we'll do something up here. मार्केटिंग किया, बोला ये भी नहीं चलेगा अभी. फिर मार्केटिंग छोड़ा तो at that point of time I still remember the name of that person, Zulfikar. He was the general manager of that department. He came to my house and he said, I would never let you go. Whatever you need, what's your plan 5 years down the line? You tell me, and we will work together and we'll make it happen. And बोला कि मुझे तो बाहर ही जाना था, मगर फिर यहाँ पे marketing में, if I will do the marketing, then my goal is to become the PMP, the product manager. So बोला कि we will work together, we'll make it happen. You stay with us, if money issues and whatnot. Well, no, I just made up my mind. I'll do the further study first. Because I was still young, and to do the study, I knew that I had to score really good again in GPAT, and to get the admission where I don't need to pay the fees. And at that time you get the scholarship if you clear the GPAT and you get the admission into the master, which I did. I got able to score really good rank. And I got admission in MS University. I was eligible for the NIPER as well. At NIPER, I get 165 rank in India. I did write an exam for UDCT, which is a chemical engineering institute at Mumbai. I got 112 rank in UDCT as well. Then I made up my mind to stay in Baroda because I did my bachelor in Baroda. I had that connection, so I did my master in the pharmaceutics there. Because now, staying in India, I say, the community pharmacists were just out of the picture. So if you want to stay in India, if you want to become a really good future, if you want to have a really good future in pharmacy in India, it has to be the industry. So did pharmaceutics, and after doing the pharmaceutics, when I was doing my master, again, I had that thing like pharmaceutics में यहाँ पे, to be honest, Nitin sir, यहाँ पे उस टाइम पे क्या था कि pharmaceutics करके भी MS University में से करके भी pay scale इतना नहीं था. And then again, the research wasn't even research. They do give you SOP, you do follow it, you do make degenerate molecules, and you do change little bit it, and so
बायोएक्विवेलेंस ही करना है बस, खाली नए मॉलिक्यूल्स के ऊपर तो कुछ रिसर्च ही नहीं है. बायोएक्विवेलेंस ही करना है.
Even at this point of time, hardly as any molecule has been coined and been successful across the world. So बोला अभी business करेंगे. So that time I had a couple of guys. When I was in MS University, we meet up on a regular time, and we executed the plan for online grocery shop. The company name was 7 Shop. We were the second in India after Big Basket. Big Basket was the first one. So we did that 7 Shop, where we had 3,000 products, online shopping, toll-free numbers, Android application, and every single product was less than MRP. Started very well, but unfortunately, with a lot of disappointment, the association was not really well. The people we got together, and finance again, underestimated the finance it needed in that kind of business. And another factor was the area we started from. It was the Saurashtra, Rajkot. Well, it could have been Ahmedabad, Mumbai, or city like Delhi or Calcutta. But fair enough, I had to hand over that business to somebody else. And then that's where I was like, again, back to square one. What is from here? And I was reading online. At that time, your advertisement pop up on Facebook. The pharma vision about to becoming a pharmacist in Canada. And I took a chance to just come to you and see, because I had a big gap again, 3-4 years. So I was kind of skeptical as well. Like, a couple of more years of reading and you're not even sure whether you're going to get it or not. Well, let's take a chance. It was nothing to lose at that point of time. And I had a rejection too. So I was skeptical about, being rejected once, what will happen if I don't get the visa and whatnot. But let's say it was the first meeting and I had a great confidence because at that point of time, what you told me is your visa ratio was 99% at that point of time, back in 2013. So that gave me a confidence, like, let's try. And when I spoke to you, I still remember that, because I had a couple of friends then who were appearing for PVC exam. They scared me a lot about, the exams. It would be tough, and so many people take a lot of try and don't pass the exam, and the finance issues at the same time because a lot of money you need. You can't do the job part-time or full-time while you're preparing for the PVC. So there was a lot of things going in my head. You said that we'll make this journey easy. You just put that trust in us, and we'll see how it goes. And you said कि classes कर लो, आपका surface up हो जाएगा. और पहली चीज मुझे अभी भी याद है वो कन्वर्सेशन पूरा. आपने बोला कि आप जो भी हो, जहां से भी आए हो, ब्लैंक हो जाओ पूरा, वो क्लीन कर दो. Once you become an empty, then I can put something in your head about the exams or your career in Canada. So I was literally blank. Whatever coming from you, I'll just absorb everything and then I'll analyze, right? So वही हुआ कि चलो क्लास, आपने बोला क्लासेस कर लो, क्लासेस किया. तो क्लासेस करके मुझे सबसे ज्यादा कॉन्फिडेंस आया कि चलो क्योंकि जीपेट में भी ऑनेस्टली सर, जीपेट करके ऑल इंडिया रैंक लेके भी जो फंडामेंटल्स क्लियर नहीं थे ना, वो फंडामेंटल्स वो क्लासेस में 13 वीक में ज्यादा क्लियर हुए. There are so many topics I never even thought about that way. Both my pharmacy career, which I came to know during the classes, like wow, clinical concepts particularly. तो फिर मुझे इंटरेस्ट लगा, हम कर लेंगे अब ये. फिर वीजा आ गया, and जो एडमिशन हुआ हमारा, the best thing you did, sir, which after that you know that so many students I said to you, I said, just go talk to Viram sir, and things will be taken care. And फिर एडमिशन लिया, वो बिजनेस कोर्स में लिया. At that point of time I was really worried, ये इकोनॉमी, अकाउंटिंग, ये कैसे होगा. आपने बोला ये इजी से इजी सब्जेक्ट है, ये कर लो, आपको टाइम मिलेगा प्रिपरेशन करने के लिए. And exactly that's what happened. Hardly I was going to college for 2 days. 4 days I had a full 4 days to prepare for PVC exams.
एक सेकंड, यहाँ तक की जो जर्नी है ना, उसको रैप अप कर लेते हैं पहले.
हाँ.
ओके, तो ऐसे देखते हैं अंकुर कि बहुत कुछ ऊपर नीचे बहुत कुछ हुआ. ओके, अगर हम ये टाइम फ्रेम को बोले तो बी फार्मा खत्म करने के बाद आप कनाडा पहुंचे, तब की टाइम फ्रेम को अगर देखें तो 2 साल की मास्टर्स, 6 महीना, ये तो सारी मिला के कुछ 3-3.5 साल का टाइम हुआ होगा. 4 साल के मैक्स टू मैक्स 4 साल का टाइम हुआ होगा बी फार्मा से लेके आप कनाडा गए तब तक का.
4 years.
4 years, ओके. अब देखिए 4 years में हम दो तरीके से देख सकते हैं उसको। एक होता है पॉजिटिव दृष्टिकोण, जो हमेशा पॉजिटिव ही देखता है। तो मैं ऐसे देखता हूं कि यार एक बार आपका यूके का रिजेक्शन हुआ, दैट वाज अ गुड अपॉर्चुनिटी कि भाई यूके का रिजेक्शन हुआ, उसके बाद पीएसडब्ल्यू बंद हो गया। दूसरा जो पॉइंट है वो यूके में आप शायद इतना सक्सीड नहीं कर पाते आपने कनाडा में किया। सेकंड पॉइंट, आपने जॉब की, वहां से भी बहुत कुछ लर्न किया, लेकिन यू हैव रूल आउट प्रोसेस कि भाई ये समथिंग ये मेरे लिए नहीं है। तीसरी पॉइंट, आपने मास्टर्स भी डेडिकेशन से खत्म किया, तो वहां से भी आप बहुत कुछ सीखे। ये जो थ्रू आउट जर्नी में आपकी जो लर्निंग एंड जो रिजेक्शन एब्जॉर्ब करने की कैपेबिलिटी हुई, वहां से आपकी जो सक्सेस है वो आगे बढ़ गई। अब बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ पे क्या गलती करते हैं, अरे यार मेरा तो नसीब ही ऐसा है, मेरा तो ऐसा ही होता है, मैं ये नहीं कर पाता हूँ, मेरे साथ ही ऐसा होता है। वो अपने आप को स्ट्रॉन्ग बनाने की जो अपॉर्चुनिटी वो मिस कर गए। आप हर बार वहां से कुछ अलग सोच के निकले, मतलब डेस्टिनी या तो ईश्वर जो भी हमारे बारे में सोचता है वो हमारे लिए बेहतर ही होता है। कनेक्ट द डॉट्स जो है वो एब्सोल्युटली ट्रू है।
100%।
अब अगर हम उसको रिट्रोस्पेक्शन से देखें, रिट्रोस्पेक्टिव पर्सपेक्टिव से, कि मतलब मान लो कि अगर कोई XYZ बच्चा है और उसको आपको एडवाइस करना है, तो आपको ऐसा लगता है कि अगर मान लो कि बी फार्मा के बाद मैं सीधा कनाडा चला गया होता प्रॉपर गाइडेंस के साथ, अगर 3rd ईयर 4th ईयर में ही मैंने प्रिपरेशन कर ली होती, तो 4th ईयर में जाने के बाद तो जर्नी थोड़ी सी फास्ट हो सकती थी। आपका पर्सपेक्टिव यहाँ पे क्या है?
100%. I mean, had it been Canada, not UK, it would have been much smoother.
Okay.
Because ultimately, what I wanted to do is to become a clinical pharmacist. So, वो जो 4 साल गया, it could have been saved. But with no regrets, it's never late.
हाँ, लेट तो होता ही नहीं है कभी भी, वहां से हमने पॉजिटिव लर्न किया। लेकिन अब यहाँ से देखिए 3 चीजों को हम रूल आउट करने का ट्राई करते हैं। देखो, आपका 12th में 89% था, आपका फार्मेसी में बेस्ट था, आपने जीपेट में बेस्ट किया, आपने नाइपर में भी एलिजिबिलिटी हो गई, मास्टर्स में भी बेस्ट किया। तो एक पॉइंट क्लियर है कि आप इंटेलिजेंट है। ओके, वो एक सारे एकेडमिक पर्सपेक्टिव से उसको अगर रखे तो इंटेलिजेंट है। दूसरी चीज, आपने इतनी सारी चीजें की तो आप हार्डवर्किंग, मतलब हार्डवर्क भी करने की क्षमता रखते हैं। अब जो आपने ये पॉइंट किया कि 4 साल में और अर्ली अचीव कर सकता था, तो 2 एलिमेंट्स को अगर हम जोड़े, अगर हम प्रोस्पेक्टिव जो आने वाले बच्चों को अगर हम कुछ कहना चाहे, तो प्लानिंग और राइट गाइडेंस एट द राइट टाइम, इंटेलिजेंस एंड हार्डवर्क, ये 4 एलिमेंट्स है जो सक्सेस होने में जरूरी है। अवेयरनेस एंड प्लानिंग का इंपॉर्टेंस शायद आपकी इनिशियल कैरियर में थोड़ा सा मिसिंग हुआ होगा।
Yes.
अगर वो अर्ली स्टेज में आता है तो दैट कैन फास्टन अप द प्रोसेस। आपको क्या लगता है ये 4 एलिमेंट्स को अगर सीक्वेंस करना है तो?
Yeah, I mean, there is nothing wrong to say whatever you say, but I will add one thing, sir. When you spoke about the intelligence, I have hundreds of examples of the students who came from the pharma region, whom I know because we have the Facebook group and we connect with each other and whatnot. Now, when coming to the intelligence, I have seen kids. I will give you the recent example, sir. The Heman Gohel. I spoke to you about giving him a relief for the classes fees for evolutions. We had a financial difficulty, and you did help him greatly. That guy, he was working as a pharmacist in PHC in Wakane district, a very small town, very rural town. We were classmates in grade 12. Right after grade 12, I never spoke to him. He just lived 7 kilometers from where I live in Rajkot, back in India. But I never spoke to him, I never met him. What happened is, he came to Canada on Saskatchewan, into Saskatchewan. He was working in Saskatchewan. And then he spoke to me. He knew that I'm in Canada. So he connected through Facebook, and I spoke to him that, hey, I don't feel really good here. I don't have a really good environment to become a pharmacist in Saskatchewan. What should I do? He said, another time I needed an employee too. for one of my pharmacies. If you come over, how much you get? I'll pay you more. You will have that little bit support financially as well, and then I'll help you for the PVC as well. So it was a win-win for me and him as well. Fair enough, he came. So where to start? So the first thing you do, you call PharmaVision, you get the subscription, and you start your preparation. That's it. He was confused about this book and that book, and he wasn't even ready to write the pharmacy exam. He said, I'll just do the assistant course, and eventually I'll end up doing the pharmacy technician course. Because whole his life, he never had the confidence that you can crack this exam. Because in bachelor, he was very mediocre when it comes to the percentage. In grade 12, he had to go to self-finance pharmacy college at that time. And so he wasn't really confident. He just did the pharmacy just because the parents forced him to do the best. He's that kind of guy. I said, you know what? It's not about you're not intelligent. You are gauging yourself whether you're intelligent or not, given your grades. I tell you what, you may not be aware at that point of time. That's why you don't have good grades. But if you become aware at this moment, there's nothing can stop you. And exactly the same thing I told each and every kid came to Canada. Sir, I'll be honest, I said every single kid that you can crack this exam. If I can crack it, you can crack it.
Perfect.
Anyone can crack this exam. There is nothing hard. It's just you need that positive mindset, you need that confidence, and then you start working from there. Before even you trying, you making all those the factual conception that hard and this and that and the language and whatnot. At least just try, just start, and then you realize. And the good thing is where you start from. So PharmaVision, each and every single student. I do the Pharma HE, but there is a Pharma HE is very popular in Canada. I do the Pharma HE with and this, there are 10 or 14 different coaching classes, and this book and that book, and I said, hey, just do the PharmaVision, and I will telling you confidently, you do the PharmaVision, you will crack the exam, sir. He did PharmaVision, he got the result 3-4 days before, he cracked the evaluation exam. Hema.
Thank you, congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, he just literally when I check his result, he said, because I was in India, he said, you check my result, it looks like you've been a savior in my life, and I said, okay, I'll check your result. And he's a good friend of mine too, right? And he's like, hey, you passed the exam, right? and I tell you, sir, when he wrote the exam, after writing an exam, the first phone call he did to pharmacies, then how was your paper? He said, not really confident. You know what I told him? You will pass the exam. That's what I exactly told him. Because when we were preparing together, I helped him, when he was reading the PharmaVision books and whatnot too. And the videos, we were going together, your videos. And the couple of questions I asked him, the tricky question, and the way he gave an answer, I knew that. He has a really good fundamentals. So
लॉजिकल एबिलिटी है उसको वो कॉन्सेप्ट्स को प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग के पर्सपेक्टिव से देखने का.
Yes, and he cracked the exam. Now he is full of the confidence, So intelligence, your grades, your scores, what you did, nothing matters. It's your awareness, and every single student come there from PharmaVision. I do not think so. None of would have cleared that exam. Pretty much all of would have cracked the exam right now.
ज्यादातर स्टूडेंट्स कर लेते. एक पहले जब इनिशियल स्टेज था तब में जब PharmaVision ने स्टार्टेड एट दैट टाइम, बहुत कम ऐसा रिकॉर्ड था कि इंडियन स्टूडेंट, जैसे आपने इनिशियली बताया कि कनाडा में आपको ऐसे रेफरेंसेस नहीं मिल रहे थे जो फार्मेसी में काम कर रहे हो. तो एक माइंडसेट बना था सब स्टूडेंट्स का, अरे यार पीबीसी तो बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, पास नहीं होती है. तब मैं सब बच्चों को यही बताता था कि भाई एक पॉजिटिव रोल मॉडल बनाओ. अगर मैं कोई देश की लाइसेंस एग्जाम कर सकता हूं तो मेरे से तो आप सब अच्छे हो, आप तो कर ही लोगे. तो ऐसे करके जो इनिशियली जितने बच्चों ने पॉजिटिव माइंडसेट से अप्रोच किया वो सब पास हो गए, सब बहुत अच्छे लेवल पर है. तो ये आपकी क्रोनोलॉजी का एक सेगमेंट समझ में आ गया. अब जैसे आप इनिशियली एज ए स्टूडेंट गए, बहुत सारा नॉइज भी चलता होगा दिमाग में कि कोई नॉइज, जैसे बहुत सारे लोग ऐसा बोलते हैं कि यार पार्ट टाइम जॉब करना जरूरी है, पीबीसी तो नहीं होगा, पीबीसी अभी नहीं करेंगे, बाद में करेंगे, पहले हम ये कोर्स खत्म कर ले, जॉब कर ले, फिर करेंगे। नया कल्चर, नया देश, पार्ट टाइम जॉब, बहुत सारी और भी चैलेंजेस। ये जर्नी को मतलब थोड़ा सा कंसाइज फॉर्म में समझा दीजिए, बता दीजिए, ताकि लोग अपने आप को कोरिलेट कर पाए।
And coming on to that point, I'll recall that the conversation we continuously had conversation at that point of time when we were doing classes with you personally. That point of time, I brought up financial issues. I said, I don't really have a good financial support. I couldn't ask more to my dad at the age of 25. He has done everything for me to get me to this point. Now you feel that embarrassed, right? And you said it's just a matter of 1 year, Ankur. If you focus, give your 100% in pharmacy, that 1 year of the cost you will recover in 3 or 4 months. I had that in my head. And then going to Canada, I saw that people were doing that mistake while they were studying. In my case, I couldn't call my dad that I need that money to support me here. But there were people, had really good financial background back in India and whatnot. But still, they were in that mindset that, if I'm in Canada, I'll do the part-time job, I'll pay my fees, and then I'll do the job during my work permit, I'll get my PR, and then I'll write the pharmacy exam. I said, no. You do your course, you do write the pharmacy exam at the same time. For that 1 year, if your parents or your brother will need to take a loan back in India, make them do it. Because that loan would be worth taking a chance. When you become a pharmacist in 3 or 4 months, the whole cost will be covered. Now think about becoming a pharmacist 2 or 3 years early, that opportunity cost of the earning you're losing in a sense.
Perfect.
Right. So and that's what I did. I if I tell you, I did hardly I worked part-time more than 20 days in 2 years.
Oh wow.
So what happened? I got an admission there. My exam was right after I landed, so I hardly had the time to prepare anything, and I was quite confident about the preparation we had during the classes. I had never had any book, I never bought anything. I wrote an exam, I got P0, passed the evaluation exam. At that point,
एक सेकंड, P0 बहुत सारे बच्चों को पता नहीं होगा। तो जैसे पीबीसी की एग्जाम में P मतलब पास, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 ऐसे करके उसके सेगमेंट्स होते हैं 25 परसेंटाइल रेंज में। तो P0 का मतलब होता है टॉप 25% स्टूडेंट्स की रेंज में फॉल होना।
yes.
तो ये टॉप 25 परसेंटाइल रेंज के बच्चों में फॉल होके वो लेवल तक की कॉन्फिडेंस से एग्जाम पास कर।
Yes.
Okay.
So I got the P0, and then I took a chance to write an MCQ. It was right after 3 or 4 months. I knew that it's a little bit early because I had to do my the student course as well at the same time. But I took a chance. I said, I'm gonna take a chance. Even if I fail, I'll learn. From what they're expecting out of us. So I wrote. I haven't had much of preparation too. I got in a state that I can do it. It will happen. I don't need to study much. So fair enough. That was the mistake I did. I wrote an MCQ. I failed an MCQ on the first attempt, and it was F0. So F0 again. F0, F1, F2.
हाँ, वो पास के जो लास्ट वाले हैं उसमें थोड़े से के लिए फेल हो गए, थोड़े से के लिए.
Yes. And then when you get that result, they'll tell you in which competency how much you will score. So that gives you an idea about how to prepare next. Fair enough. With that F0, my old competency were really good. Statistics, the clinicals, behavioral science, the management part. That something you learn working in a pharmacy. You have more clear idea. And people were doing the exam question papers. There were past exam, papers you study. People even pass on the first attempt and whatnot. But I'll tell you here what happens if you go a different route. So I knew that this is where I'm lacking. So fair enough. Then what I did is I took an MCQ and OST together. Now I knew what they're expecting out of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at that point of time, no Gujarati were taking these two exams together. Let me remind you, everybody was scared. Like, you don't do that. You already filled an MCQ. You don't know how hard the MCQ and whatnot. Like, let me take a chance ahead. What's wrong? I'm gonna prepare hard and then leave rest on to on the result. Why would I worry about the result right now? I'll just prepare. I knew why I failed because I haven't had much effort put into that MCQ exam in terms of the pharmacy management. I did that. Now with MCQ, the way I prepared, I knew that if one person going to pass in the PVC exam, it should be me.
Perfect.
That's how I prepared.
वो level का preparation होना चाहिए. Perfect.
That's how I prepared. So there was 2 days at that point of time in exam where you get 3.5 hours, 150 questions each day. Each day, I still remember I had at least 45 minutes left. And when I finished my paper, I did not even think twice to revise those questions and go through again where I'm done. I passed this exam. I'm not gonna even if I'm gonna make 5 correct questions by repeating all those, I'm not gonna do that. I knew that I'm gonna pass the exam, and I did that for both days. And OSCE. Now, so many people had that, the fear about the OSCE. While you said the same thing, I remember that too, and I had the same mindset. OSCE is the easiest exam. So I did pass both together, MCQ and OSCE. And at that point of time, I still had 1 semester to clear because without completing my study course, I cleared everything in 1 year because I passed the exam, failed, and then wrote it again, 2 together. So I cleared everything in 1 year. I still had 1 semester to do, which I finished that semester, and then I got my work permit, and then we started working.
Perfect. तो यही रोड मैप हम आज भी बच्चों को बताते हैं, पर बहुत सारे बच्चे अभी डरते हैं. तो इसको अगर हम कंक्लूड करें तो पार्ट टाइम जॉब पे कम फोकस करो,
100%.
एग्जाम पे फोकस करो. अगर पैसे लेके भी करना पड़े तो भी कर लो. अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट है वो बहुत बड़ी है. तो अगर आप 3-4 महीने में वो कवर अप कर लोगे तो 1 साल जल्दी से फार्मासिस्ट बनने वाला गोल बना के आगे बढ़ना चाहिए.
100%.
तो अब यहाँ से आप फार्मासिस्ट बन गए, पढ़ाई खत्म हो गई, वर्क परमिट आ गई. नाउ यू हैव स्टार्टेड योर प्रोफेशनल जर्नी. तो आपको क्या डिफिकल्ट लगा था फार्मेसी में जॉब एज ए फार्मासिस्ट ढूंढने के लिए?
So now, when we talked about, sir, passing an exam, doing just an exam papers, and passing an exam, with the thorough knowledge that you are going to be a clinical pharmacist, you have that confidence that you are going to be a clinical pharmacist, and you will take care of your patient. When you have that confidence, that creates the difference, further in your career. I have seen a pharmacist who just passed the exam, just doing the question papers. They struggle a lot throughout their career for next 5 years, even 10 years. Even they're struggling right now. And then one who has done really good during the exam, during the preparation, one who have really good clinical aspects, they did really good. They outsmart. They got what they needed. They got into the company they needed. They got the money they needed. And they're happy doing that. Because imagine becoming a pharmacist, just signing the prescription, that won't give you satisfaction at the end of the day. You're getting the money. But how long do you keep carrying that thing? Then it will become so monotonous for you to sign the prescription and done. It will be like you just doing the labor work. But when you have the clinical aspects, you feel that confident. You have that the deal to work, to go into the pharmacy every day.
Perfect.
And that's what I loved about the job. Even at this moment, every single day, I work Monday to Saturday. From 8 years, I've been working 6 days. And every single day, never even never ever I had a thought that, today is the day I'm not going to the pharmacy. I love going to the pharmacy because every single day you have that puzzles, you have that the questions, people have the question, you solve that issues. Doctor give you call like, what should I do? This is the situation, what medication we should go with. We do love that people put trust in that. Your people are in circle of care, they put a trust in you, nurses, doctors. You love about that.
ये बहुत बड़ी बात है अंकुर. एक्चुअली ऐसे ही हमारे जो दूसरे स्टूडेंट है, जिसने भी हार्ड वर्क करके जो प्रिपरेशन किया, तो जैसे आपने एक स्टूडेंट्स को भेजा, ऐसा बोला कि आपका जो अभी कल 2 दिन पहले जो रिजल्ट आया का, ऐसे ही एक ऑस्ट्रेलिया में एक स्टूडेंट है हमारा हार्दिक, उसके साथ ऐसे ही आपके साथ जैसे इंटरव्यू कर रहे, ऐसे ही उसके साथ इंटरव्यू कर रहा था. उसने एक लड़की को भेजा था, नेपाल की लड़की थी जो उसके साथ काम करती थी. सी ऑल्सो हैज जॉइन्ड द फार्मा विजन. पर हार्दिक वो एक हार्ड वर्किंग, जो मतलब वो अच्छे से, मतलब जैसे हम पढ़ाते वो हिसाब से उसने सारे जो फंडामेंटल नॉलेज को अच्छे से इम्बाइब किया था. अब वो लड़की का माइंडसेट ऐसा था कि उसको क्विकली जो क्वेश्चन पेपर सॉल्व करती है, फार्मासिस्ट बन जाना था. बिकम द रजिस्टर्ड फार्मासिस्ट. अभी वो ऑस्ट्रेलिया में रजिस्टर्ड फार्मासिस्ट ही है, लेकिन आज भी वो बहुत स्ट्रगल कर रही है. तो हार्दिक का भी यही कहना था, दूसरा विक्रम है, उसका भी यही. ये सारे जितने अच्छे फार्मासिस्ट के साथ मेरा इंटरव्यू हुआ है हमारे स्टूडेंट्स के साथ, वो सबका एक ही बात है, don't only focus on the exam. It's better you have to focus to become a good clinical pharmacist that can give you the extra edge towards your professional life, as well as the most important thing, you can get job satisfaction. जो आप पूरे टाइम के बाद तो मोनोटोनस हो जाना है अगर आपके पास अच्छा क्लिनिकल नॉलेज नहीं है. तो that is a really good takeaway for all preparing students.
Sorry if I can interrupt there, sir. Exam paper करके pass होना, then people, why people are, more, inclined towards doing the exam papers and pass the exam, because they find that this is the easiest and the quickest way to do it. But in hindsight, it is not, because doing an exam paper, there is no guarantee you will crack the exam. So what if you fail, which people failed over and over? That prolongs your journey towards becoming the pharmacist, right? And the stress you have, that financial crutches you will have down the line and whatnot. So, but when you are preparing really well to become a pharmacist, there is a confidence, the sense of confidence. You do it, you crack it easily, and then to find the job, and things are falling in place accordingly.
परफेक्ट. तो मतलब एक अच्छा क्लिनिकल नॉलेज है और कॉन्फिडेंस है, तो आप इजीली जॉब ले सकते हो, इजीली, उसमें कोई इश्यू नहीं है. और आप कॉन्फिडेंस से जा सकते हो. अब एक वहां से अगर जर्नी को आगे देखें कि भाई आप $1,00,000 से ज्यादा कमा रहे हो, पीआर भी आ गई है, लाइफ भी सेट है, अब जॉब करना है, मंडे टू फ्राइडे जॉब कर लो, आराम से क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ अच्छे से जियो. तो आपका इंस्पिरेशन अब बिजनेस करने का और कनाडा में खुद की फार्मेसी स्टार्ट करने का जो आया, उसके पीछे क्या मोटिव था? मतलब क्या आपके बूस्ट इंस्पिरेशनल थॉट्स थे?
100%. Now, just a little bit going back where we left from about preparing exam really well, having a good clinical knowledge. So I'll tell you one thing. At that point of time, when I was doing an internship, nobody were getting paid for their internship in Canada, right? In my group, as far as I knew, I was the first one who were getting paid throughout the internship. I was getting paid $22 at that point of time, half of the salary of the pharmacist, for throughout the 6 months for my internship. The reason why, because I was doing an internship. His name is Hubert, the pharmacy owner. He took my interview, and in interview he asked me so many clinical questions. He literally put the scenarios in front of me, the way they ask you the scenario in MCQ. So it was really interesting for me, and I answered really well to them. He's like, okay, this is really good. He was the pharmacist born and brought up in Canada and whatnot. So I said, okay, let's just start working. And I never expected that I will even cross the conversation about the pay, because I knew that it's not going to give me pay. And then he asked me like, okay, there is any question for me? I said no. I said, what about the pay? Do you have anything in your mind? and then as I said, whatever it will be helpful for me to support my a living. And then he said, okay, fair enough. We'll start from the 18, and then he raised to $22 towards the end of my industry. So that was again a perk, the good knowledge. Then people give you money for that. But if you just there is a term for that, dean checkers. The pharmacist who just a dean checker signers, dean checker. If you're just a dean checker pharmacist, then they will put you in the category and then will treat you accordingly.
इसमें एक और चीज भी ऐड कर देता हूं मैं, जैसे हार्दिक की जो बात कर रहा था मैं, ऑस्ट्रेलिया का जो स्टूडेंट है वो एक फार्मेसी में काम करता था। वो अपने घर से थोड़ी सी दूर थी। उसने अपने फार्मेसी ओनर को बोला कि भाई अभी है ना, एक काम करो, मुझे घर के नजदीक में एक फार्मेसी में जाना है, तो यहाँ पे मैं कंटिन्यू नहीं कर सकता हूँ। तो उसके ओनर ने उसको बोला कि भाई तुझे कितने पैसे चाहिए, ओके, तू बोल, अपने हिसाब से सैलरी बोल। वो बोला नहीं यार, सैलरी का कोई इश्यू नहीं। उसने उसको पार्टनरशिप ऑफर कर दी कि उसने बोला कि भाई तू एक काम कर, तू यहाँ पे आ जा, तेरी पार्टनरशिप है। अभी 1 साल हुआ था उसको फार्मासिस्ट बने हुए, भी 1 साल नहीं हुआ था। तो इस तरह से अगर आपका अच्छा मेहनत करोगे तो वो पेड ऑफ होगी ही होगी।
100%।
रियली ग्रेट एग्जाम्पल। स्टूडेंट्स को इंस्पिरेशन लेना चाहिए यहाँ से कि भाई मुझे अच्छा फार्मासिस्ट बनना है, दैट शुड बी द गोल। माय प्रोडक्ट है, वो एग्जाम तो पास हो ही जानी है।
Yeah, because then what happens, sir? Let's just somebody come to a pharmacy. Let's just see, where I get the motivation to do better for the patient and to do the business. So if you have a good clinical knowledge, somebody comes to the pharmacy. If you don't really have a clinical the knowledge, the sound clinical knowledge, you will try to avoid that situation. You try to confront the situation with the patient that you may end up giving a wrong answer. So you just stay away from that. So rather finding the solution for the patient, you just stay away. You just stay behind the door, right? But on the other side, when you are willing to have the patient, you only do that when you have that knowledge. So you go, you offer them a solution, you ask them a question, and you provide the solution in a way that trust you build up with that patient, and that will help you to retain that business. Ultimately, it's a business, pharmacy business. How would you build the business? By building the trust. Now, how would you build the trust? It's just not a friendly relationship. Building the trust by providing the best solution, best patient care. Whenever they have a question, you are there to answer that question. And are they satisfied with that answer? Yes, of course they are. So now what happens is whenever they go to the doctor, they make sure that doctor and pharmacist both are on the same page, same patient. That is the best trust you have built up. Now that patient will never go to other pharmacy, no matter how cheap medication the other pharmacy will give it to them.
Perfect.
They will stay with you. Right? So this is how you build the business. And then building the business, your owner see that, what you are bringing on the table for the owner. And accordingly, you get treated, you get promoted. So what will help you? The clinical knowledge will help you in that. Nothing else. No matter how good looking you are, no matter how good English you have, it's not going to help you.
Perfect.
It's your knowledge that, and ultimately it will help you down there.
वहां से फार्मेसी डेफिनेटली आपका जो मेन फोकस रहा कि भाई ओके, आई डू हैव अ गुड क्लिनिकल नॉलेज, आई हैव पॉजिटिव माइंडसेट फॉर द मेकिंग सम इम्पैक्ट ऑन द पेशेंट्स लाइफ, पेशेंट्स की हेल्थ आउटकम में कुछ बदलाव लाना है। तो वहां से भी आप एक इंस्पायर्ड हुए। कॉमर्शियली अगर देखें तो फार्मेसी बिजनेस एंड वर्किंग एज ए फार्मासिस्ट, अगर आप कहीं पे जॉब करते हो, खुद की फार्मेसी करते हो, तो कॉमर्शियली कैसे ये फिगर वर्कआउट होता है? मतलब इट्स गुड वैल्यूएबल इफ फार्मेसी बिजनेस स्टार्ट करना?
Yes, couple of things, sir. Pharmacy business. Now, pretty much all Indians, we have really good work ethics. Whether you're working for somebody, whether you're working for you put the same effort at the end of the day. That's how the Indian works. And then I thought, if I'm putting this much effort, why should not I start my own pharmacies? Now you had all those the cards you dealt with throughout your pharmacy the profession. When you were working for somebody else, you knew how you build the business. You take good care of the patients. You in and out about the finance about the pharmacy business. So then you become confident about running your own business. Now, second part of that is the tax structure in Canada. Working as a pharmacy, you pay a little bit more taxes. Owning a business, you end up paying a little bit less taxes. So that's another thing, you save the money. But when you again, it will come down to your the ability of running the business, and that will be 60 to 70% is how clinically sound pharmacist you are. If you have the good clinical knowledge, and if you have a patient care, people skill, every Indian would have the people skill. Right? Now, what they are afraid is the finance about the pharmacy. They feel like, oh, this is too much thing, so much of regulatories involved into the business, and money you needed, and it's very easy. It's easier than doing job. It will come at a challenge to start with, but once this process streamline, it will be really easy. The finance right now in Canada, if I'm not wrong, 95% of the project cost is funded by the bank, and the interest rates are lowest in the world, possibly. Right now it's 4%.
Oh,
right. So it's like for people in India, that. If you tell the people in India it's 4% interest annual, there is free money. You do that.
Yes.
So that's where you have the courage to take a risk. Because keep that thing back in the mind that if you fail, even if it failed for some reason, you still have your license. You go back in your job, you can still recover that in a year or two. There's nothing to lose, right? So that was things I had in my mind. I was making at that point of time, to be honest, it was over $200,000. Working for somebody, I was making over $200,000. My annual per hour salary was $75, with bonus was $80 an hour. I was a manager. Yeah, so I was in a comfort zone. I was totally in comfort zone, and they were paying me as a corporation. They were not paying me as an employee; was paying me as a corporation. So I was saving the taxes there as well. So that's another thing I'll advise the farmers: wherever you work, if you know that the employer need you, then you dictate the term. You tell them the way you need your pay and whatnot. There are so many things, right, involved in that. But then I thought,
again, आप कितने valuable हो.
that you should be knowing your value, absolutely. How much worth you are. तो फिर उसके बाद क्या किया सर कि बोला अभी रिस्क लेते हैं फार्मेसी का, अभी इतना है, पता चल गया कैसे होता है, रेगुलेटरीज का इतना कुछ है नहीं है. अगर किसी को भी हेल्प चाहिए, अगर वहाँ पे any of our the Indian friends who need help, I'm there to help them.
Perfect, that's good. Thank you.
Yes, 100%. And फिर business में there are so many hidden advantage of owning the pharmacy business. First of all, is the most lucrative business in Canada, the retail market. Any retail business you can do in Canada, the pharmacy is the most lucrative right now. And I would encourage everybody to try the luck. There's nothing wrong. 100%. Yes. And break even for the business is different from province to province, depending on how much funding they provide, healthcare budget of each province. But roughly, if I take an average, 25 to 30 prescriptions a day will give you break even.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is not quite impossible to do it. We think
if you are maintaining good relations with the patients, it's
100%. And in Canada, it is about the patient care. It's about the service. 100% about the service. Even like where I own the pharmacy right now, couple of my patients, sir, the relatives own the pharmacy next door. They don't go there. The white people, their relatives, their family members owns the pharmacy. They don't go there. They come to us.
Perfect.
Not because they like me, just because like the service of the pharmacy. You provide the best service, you will have the business. There's no rocket science there. While in India doing the business, there's so many gimmicks involved where you have to ask every single gimmick to get the business. It's not the same. It's really easy in Canada.
तो अभी करंटली आप कि टोटल बिजनेसेस कितने हैं कनाडा में और अभी मतलब how you are managing all those businesses?
Right now, I have 3 pharmacy, three pharmacy. One pharmacy is a clinic, which is in a partnership with another partner, and I have 4 restaurants, Mexican restaurants. And then throughout my journey, I invested a lot of money back in India in real estate. I have a plastic manufacturing business in India where my brother take care of the business, and a couple of other things I invested the money in India as well. So it's been
लोग बहुत सारे लोग ऐसा बोलते हैं ब्रेन ड्रेन हो रहा है, तो मैं तो ये बोल रहा हूँ कि ये तो उल्टा हम वहां जाके कमा के इंडियन इकोनॉमी में भी इन्फ्यूज कर रहे हैं ना, तो दैट्स नॉट कंसिडर्ड एज अ ब्रेन ड्रेन, एक्चुअली दैट्स डायरेक्ट कंट्रीब्यूटर ऑफ द इंडियन इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ.
हाँ, अभी एफआई करेंगे तो बुल मार्केट आएगा ना. बाकी बेयर मार्केट में तो क्या करेंगे.
तो अभी आप काफी सारे बिजनेसेस मैनेज करते हो और यंग एज में अंकुर आपने बहुत कुछ अचीव किया. इट्स रियली ग्रेट. अब अगर आपको कोई एडवाइस देनी है प्रोस्पेक्टिव स्टूडेंट्स को, तो ऐसी 3 कौन सी एडवाइस आप उसको बताओगे कि भाई यू हैव टू ये 3 चीजों के ऊपर आप फोकस करो, एंड वो पूरा कंक्लूजन हमारी जो बातचीत है उसका कंक्लूजन की फॉर्म में आप बता सको.
I mean, as everybody says, sir, have that confidence in yourself. And do not hold on to your past. Because I have seen 99% people looking at the past always regrets. You don't look in the past to have that happy thing. You always look in the past to regrets the thing. You look in the past to see the happy moments. When you get older, when you're in your 70s or 80s, that's when you look back in the past and you find the happy moment there. But when you're young, you always look back in the past to find the regrets. You don't do that. That was done. At any point, if you become an hour, if you're in that moment, that's when your journey starts from. So whether your past is good or bad does not matter. This is where you start from. And anything we can do from that. So that's the one thing, believe in yourself, live in the moment. And keep working hard. There is no alternative for that too.
Perfect.
Now, working hard is not like doing the labor job for hours and hours, going into the Canada, doing the deliveries or working in the restaurants. You would have your bread and butter. But end of the day, if you ask the question, is this something you really want to do throughout your life? No. So. If you are a pharmacist, if you are an engineer, or if you have professional degrees, might as well capitalize on that. Do get your professional degrees in Canada by hook or crook, because that's the best way to survive in that country. And people, I have seen intelligent people who are engineers and whatnot, they couldn't identify their potential. So identify your potential and work towards that. Yeah.
ओके, अभी हम ये जो पॉडकास्ट है उसको रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं फरवरी 2025 में. अभी 2025 फरवरी में इसको रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं. अभी बहुत सारी ऐसी लास्ट 3-4 महीने से कनाडा के बारे में नेगेटिव ये वो सारी चीजें बहुत सारी आ रही है. आज के दिन में अगर आपको मैं पूछूं कि फार्मासिस्ट के लिए कनाडा इज हेल और हेवन, आज के दिन में कनाडा में फार्मासिस्ट के लिए अच्छा ऑप्शन है? आने वाले 4-5 साल का अगर आप आउटलुक देखो तो फार्मासिस्ट के लिए आपको क्या लगता है?
It is heaven. It always will be heaven in Canada. Yes. And when we were back in 2014, when we cracked the exam, it was at that point of time it was really hard to find the job. You were able to get the job, but to me, I had that numbers in my mind that per hour I need this amount because I deserve. I had the confidence. So that it was challenging. But now, if I tell you, sir, like I said, really pharmacist at my pharmacy, I'm paying $100 an hour.
Oh my God, $100.
It is a remote location, but still.
But it's okay. Young kids, those who are traveling.
Oh yes.
Canada, they have it's a great money. Great.
I'm paying right now. I'm paying $100 an hour every year. I come here from last 8 years. Been coming every year here. So every year, 2 months, 3 months, I have really pharmacist $100 an hour.
And as you were talking about, it's still is a little bit difficult for finding the relieving pharmacist.
That was my next thing. Even paying $100,
Ah.
like whether you will be find a good pharmacist or not, you will find probably not a good pharmacist. So
$100 को अगर हम सीधा सीधा कैलकुलेशन करें, टैक्स को कन्वर्जन को हटा दे, तो $100 40 घंटे काम करते हो, फॉर एग्जाम्पल ईयरली $2 लाख हुए
ज्यादा।
ओके, $2 लाख से ज्यादा हुआ, तो अगर 60 रुपीज के हिसाब से पकड़ के चले तो 1.25 करोड़ रुपए, 1.25 करोड़ रुपए, 1.5 करोड़ रुपए की सालाना इनकम हुई।
100%।
और इंडिया में यही फार्मासिस्ट का पोटेंशियल इंडिया में 3 लाख रुपए में पिसा पीटा जा रहा है।
100%, yes।
अगर वो अपने आप को थोड़ा सा बूस्ट करे, कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ अपने आप के ऊपर विश्वास रख के आगे बढ़े, तो दैट इज द पोटेंशियल। दे कैन मेक 1.5 CR इन a year डेफिनेटली। तो ये इट्स डेफिनेटली ये नॉइसेस जो भी जितना भी ये कचरा चल रहा है दिमाग में कनाडा के नेगेटिव में, उसको हटा के सोच सकते हैं ये।
Nothing to say, sir, that the people who coming after grade 12 and thinking of surviving in Canada, on the nominal job, that has become a little bit harder. The minimum pay job, you will survive in Canada, you will make out of that in Canada. That days are gone, sir, right now. Right for now, at least. That time will come again. But in this kind of situation right now, that time is gone. That you will do your minimum pay job and then you'll make out of that in 10 years. No. If you are thinking that way, try not to do that.
Perfect.
But if you're an engineer, if you are a pharmacist, a doctor, any good science degrees, if you want to capitalize onto that. If you're a physiotherapist, even physiotherapist, getting the physiotherapy license there, really good career there. So it is 100% worth going there. And I've been calling everybody. And there are so many people call me, like, relatives, like, I have kids, so I send it, like, what he has done. Oh, he has done B.Com and, how he was doing in B.Com. Just don't do that. You have enough money back in India for your kid? Yeah, I do. Fair enough. But a pharmacist, yes.
That's okay.
But pharmacist, if you want to become a pharmacist, you will become a pharmacist.
Otherwise, it's useless.
You will become a pharmacist. It's really easy. Yes, then you come.
उसके लिए तो pharmavision है ही.
You start from the because when you crack the first exam, I never seen anybody who cracked the PVC evaluation exam who hasn't cleared the final exam pharmacy.
ये पॉइंट भी बहुत 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 पॉजिटिवली बताता हूँ। अभी 2 दिन पहले मैंने एक वीडियो बनाई थी जिसमें आपने जो ये बोला ना कि फार्मेसी स्टोर में काम कर लो, अगर इवैल्यूएटिंग पास हो गई है तो क्वालिफाइंग देने से पहले आप ट्राई करो फार्मेसी स्टोर में जॉब मिल जाए, इमीडिएटली MCQ लिखने का ट्राई करो, और हो सके तो आपने 50% नहीं, आपने 70% जर्नी क्लियर कर ली। इवैल्यूएटिंग पास हुई मतलब 70% जर्नी हैज बीन क्लियर्ड। अब आप
100%.
बहुत नेक्स्ट लेवल तक बूस्ट हो जाएगा।
100%. और दूसरा सर, if we can the one who is preparing for evaluation exam, I'll tell them to go step into the pharmacy at least for 1 month. At least do volunteer work.
Yes.
Do volunteer work just for 1 month, and you talk to the pharmacist there, whoever the manager there, convince them that, hey, I'm preparing for an evaluation exam. What I need from you is to help me out to in terms of the behavioral management in pharmacy and management, how we deal with the different kind of situations with the patients. That 1 month experience, I bet everybody, sir, they don't need to study those managements. Even 1 month will be more than enough. If they just explore the pharmacy for 1 month, everything will be clear. You don't need to imagine anything because now you know how it works in the pharmacy.
Real life के बारे में पता चल जाएगा. Perfect है वो.
Yes, and it will clear everything. And then for OSCE, you said exactly right, sir. Work in a pharmacy, even at the volunteer, work for 2 months. Because once you cleared MCQ, that pharmacy will allow you and give you an opportunity. Good pharmacists will give you an opportunity to counsel the patient or to stand besides the pharmacy while pharmacist counseling. that will make your preparation half done already. And then there are so many pharmacists who can arrange, they can give you this the privilege to work in a pharmacy.
Yes.
And like I said, I'm willing to help anyone who is preparing for an exam. We have a good network of the pharmacists, across the Canada. If they need that help, tell them to approach me. We'll make it happen for every single student of PharmaVision. We'll make that happen to have that handy experience in pharmacy.
Thank you very much. Thanks for that.
No problem, sir.
Okay. Thanks, Ankur. That was a really great talk, and it's so many insightful thoughts and inspirational. जो आपकी जर्नी है वहां से बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स को ऐसा इंस्पिरेशन मिलेगा और दे आर आल्सो गोइंग टू बिकम ए यंगेस्ट मिलियनर और वो जो इंडिया की ग्रोथ स्टोरी लिखने में, अपनी फैमिली की ग्रोथ स्टोरी लिखने में और खुद की ग्रोथ स्टोरी में ये बहुत हेल्पफुल होगा. और थैंक्स फॉर योर ओपन एंडेड सपोर्ट. आपने जो बोला कि भाई किसी भी फार्मेसी के स्टूडेंट्स या तो फार्मेसिस्ट दोज हु विश टू स्टार्ट देयर ओन बिजनेस एंड दे नीड सम सॉर्ट ऑफ नेटवर्किंग इंफॉर्मेशन और जो अपने जो इनिशियल जर्नी में कुछ पॉइंट्स की जरूरत पड़ती है तो वो सारी चीजों के लिए
I cannot thank you enough for wherever I am right now, whatever I've been doing. There are a lot I owe it to you, sir.
Thank you very much, and that kind of gratitudes are really taking the people to the next level. Okay, thanks.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you very much, and if best wishes for your life. अभी और आगे सक्सेस मिले आपको और बहुत हैप्पी एंड हेल्दी लाइफ जियो.
Thank you, sir.
कभी भी हमारी लाइफ कुछ भी जरूरत है तो हमारे दरवाजे ऑलवेज ओपन होते हैं. चलो, थैंक यू वेरी मच अंकुर.
Thank you, sir. Take care. Bye.